It's the possibility of freezing child care funding for all 50 states because of fraud schemes happening in Minnesota. Although this funding cut has not affected West Virginia yet, it has already started in other states. Our Allison Powers has more from a local daycare owner who is concerned for their center, but also for other jobs throughout the Mid-Ohio Valley.
Over the weekend, the Trump administration announced freezing child care funding for all 50 states of America. The funding freeze has not made its way to West Virginia as of Monday, but local daycare centers are still worried. Samantha Ash, the owner of Olivia and Friends Child Care Center in Parkersburg, said when she first found out about the child care freeze, she was scared.
I know our program specifically, about 20% of our kids are subsidy children, which doesn't seem like a very large number, but that's actually closer to about $5,000 to $6,000 a month that we will be losing if there is a stall.
Ash said if the freeze happens in West Virginia, that means the federal government would not give the state funding, and the state wouldn't give the funding to the program in Parkersburg.
That also means that programs like ours would have to shut down or start only taking private pay families, and I am not always sure that that's even an option. You would also see a lot of people not being able to work anymore, a lot of moms that would have to stay home, and I know the Mid-Ohio Valley specifically is about 48% of those working are women.
Parents at Olivia and Friends have already been voicing their concerns on what is next for the center if the funding is cut. Ash said her center is not just about ABCs, it's about prepping kids for being the best versions of themselves.
It's hard when we run through things like this where we're talking about cutting funding because it's already hard enough to keep these programs open. This would just end programs everywhere for a lot of people. I hope and I pray that this is not the direction that we go, and that we realize that childcare is not just a place to put your kids.
For more about the child care funds being cut and how it affects the Mid-Ohio Valley, you can visit our website at WTAP.com. In Parkersburg, this is Allison Powers with WTAP News.